As a person beginning art, you may not know where to begin. It can seem daunting, with so much to learn that you end up not starting at all. When you ask for advice, people will tell you to just study the fundamentals. But what are the fundamentals? This video, we're going to cover some basic information on the fundamentals of art, so you'll have a general idea of how to start and where to focus. Your growth as an artist will improve considerably with deliberate and iterative practice. Let's get your drawings to look more accurately like your visions. You might be groaning at the idea of having to study and practice the fundamentals, but if you are serious about this, serious about improving quickly, then you need to start. You cannot think that drawing with your brain off will result in worthwhile practice. If you can't draw and understand basic 3D forms, how the hell do you think you're going to be able to draw a human? I mean, you're free to do so, but it won't be any good. If you are a casual, great. But if you are trying to be competitive, this is something you have to do. This is an artistic investment of your time and energy. I've compiled a general list of the fundamentals for beginners. Developing these fundamentals will leave a strong foundation for your artistic skills and allow you to produce art that doesn't look like complete ass. We have basic forms, lighting, edges, perspective, and composition. Let's start with the most basic of basics, forms. Every complex form can be broken down into basic 3D shapes: spheres, cubes, cylinders, pyramids, and donuts. Being able to draw basic forms will allow you to then substitute complex objects with the combination of these forms, making it more digestible and easy to approach. Start big, then work your way down. This will also help you think in 3D, which is super important. Many artists who begin will fall into this trap of drawing flat and observing contours. When you first start doing this, you'll notice scratchy, wobbly lines with no understanding, cohesion, and balance in your drawings. It will also be difficult to draw from your imagination. So, get into the habit of drawing basic forms with cross contours. Indicate the planes and how the forms flow with one another. Now we have a strong foundation to set up our lighting. To give a realistic illusion of 3D forms, you must accurately depict lighting and understand how that affects the form. A few general rules to keep in mind. Where is the light source coming from? Separate the lights and the darks. Does the form have a smooth or sharp transition of its planes? For shadows, we have the core shadow. Super important. This indicates the beginning of the shadows and is the darkest with ambient occlusion and cast shadow. Reflective light is bounced light that hits other surfaces and redirects it back to the form. Ambient occlusion is the contact shadow. Cast shadow is the shadow created from the form that is blocking the light source. Midtones or halftones, which fall in between and transition light from shadow. For the lights, we have center light, the planes facing directly towards the light. Highlight, the reflected light source that directly hits the viewer. We have the basic scientific lighting setup now on our forms, and you can see the three-dimensionality without the help of cross contours. Now onto edges. We can't have everything being a hard edge. It won't look right. We need to vary the edges to either be hard or soft depending on the situation. Let's take the sphere as an example of soft transitions. We are going to create smooth gradations of values to indicate a soft form. For an example of hard transitions, we will use the cube. There are 3 major values for each plane of the face: the center light, the midtones, and the shadows, all with sharp edges. This is called a 1, 2, 3 read, making it more appealing and realistic. Now onto perspective. Perspective will help you draw accurate forms and have consistency between other objects. It will also help you create the illusion of 3D space. If one part of the whole has inconsistencies in its perspective, it will mess everything up. To keep it simple, think of the XYZ axis. Make sure each independent axis is parallel to each other. In more extreme examples of perspective, the lines will converge more to its vanishing point. Whenever you are having trouble with complicated forms, try breaking down the forms as cubes. This will always give you the XYZ axis, so you can make sure your perspective is on point. Finally, by knowing all of these fundamentals, we can combine it as composition. Generally, we want to set a horizon line and our point of perspective, so 1 point, 2 point, etc. Objects below the horizon line we'll be able to see the top of, and above the horizon we'll see below it. Decide on the light sources and their direction. For example, if it's sunlight, it'll be warm, and if it's moonlight, it'll be cool. We also need to determine our main subject, the foreground and background. Contrast for the main subject should be the highest, and the background should have low contrast to avoid fighting for the attention of the viewer. Elements and objects other than the subject should be supporting the main focal point by pointing towards it or adding to the story. Use basic forms to aid in perspective to create depth and dynamic compositions. And there you have it, my personal list of the fundamentals for beginners. Let me know if there was something I missed or what you would have personally added. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!